Hello, welcome to the last video in our object-oriented programming of Python course. Just as a reminder, before we get to the last project, there's a couple links up here for one-on-one tutoring for object-oriented programming in Python and also software design and engineering. You can find them at our links on our website, and yeah, just copy the code, copy the links if you're interested. Today we're going to be doing the final project in the object-oriented programming Python course, which is a BlackJack game. We're going to be using classes and inheritance to make everything fit together, and yeah, it's going to be a much longer project than the previous two. So just to get started, we need a few classes, so let's make a player class. Make a deck class, and let's make a card class. So in our card class, we need a card should have a, let's just say, a face and a suit. So let's do suit face self.suit self.face suit face. And deck is going to inherit the card class. So if you're inheriting a different class, you put parentheses and the class that you're inheriting in the new class, and it gives you access to all the member variables and functions of the class you're inheriting, or the parent class. So we want to create a card class that creates cards in a deck, and then we want to fill our deck with those cards. So array. Okay. Card. And then our player class is going to need a name and a score. Let's do points and a score. And then points will be, points is points in the player hands, and score is overall game score. We'll probably also need a player hand variable that is an array that stores all the cards the player has, but we can add that later. Let's get to the card in the deck class. So a card has a suit and a face, and we need to be able to create all the cards in the deck. So there's 52 cards in the deck because there's the numbers 1 through 10. Then there's the 3 face cards, Jack, Queen, and King. Well, 1 is Ace, but so Ace 2 through 10, and then Jack, Queen, King. So that's 13 cards, 4 suits, so 13 times 4 is 52. So we want to create an array in our deck class, and then we want to fill it using the card class. So let's do suits hearts, diamonds, clubs, and spades. We'll do faces, which is ace. I'm going to put the faces as strings, even for the numbers. Just makes things easier because the number value doesn't necessarily mean, well, it means the point value, but we're going to have to change the other cards into point values anyway. So then we need to create our cards. So we'll fill the deck array with loop for x in deck array. Deck array sub x equals let's do it this way. For x in range e2. Deck array sub x equals. So we want to loop through our two lists. And then we want to create a card object. So we'll do a card, and then it's suit and then face. Suit should loop through. So we want to do hearts, 1 through, or ace through king, which is 13 cards. So we want 13 hearts, 13 diamonds, 13 clubs, 13 spades. We'll have card, I'm just going to create a new array. This is how we should do it. Should be for x in range suits, or not x in range suits, or x in suits. Y in faces. We'll do deck array equals deck array sub x equals card suits sub x, faces sub y. And then, well, dec array, it wouldn't be dec array sub x, but it would be so x and y are the positions. So if we had diamond 4 of diamonds, that would be suits would be 1, and faces would be 3. But we would need the number so what, x plus y. If x plus y, it would be 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3. So it would loop through all of the faces for hearts. 0, 0 would be the first, 0, 1 would be the second. It would go all the way through, and then this would become 1. So we do 13 times x. Okay, so if x is 0 for suits, then it loops through all of these. If x is 1, then we start at 13. Position 13 would be the next position in the dec array. And then position 13 in the dec array would be position 1, position in suits, and then position 0 in faces. And then we loop through all this, and then, okay. And then if we got to position 52, it would be, spades would be 3, and then faces, so it would be 3 times 13, which is 39. And then we loop through all of this, and then we would get to 51, because it would be 12 plus 39. And that would be our last arcane. Okay. So this is how you set up the array. So we have our just to review really quickly, we have our card class and we have our deck class. So card, it takes in a suit and a face. It creates card objects, while our deck class creates a deck using card objects. So to create our initial deck, we create for the BlackJack game, we created a suits and a faces array that just lists all of the different faces and suits of our cards. And then to create our initial deck, we looped through I guess you don't need to do this. You could just do deck array.append. Okay, we'll come back to this later, but we're just gonna append cards one by one. And using the two arrays. So our so this will create the initial cards for the deck. This is all we need to do. Okay, so that's how we create our deck array. And then this is going to be our full deck. And then let's just create the, let's start creating the game, and then we can come back to our classes, just so the picture becomes more clear. So we'll define a play game function. We'll ask we'll do play round, and then our main program will have play game. So below our play round function, we'll have main program. So input, welcome to BlackJack. Input, player 1, please enter your name. Player player. Score should be 0. So these two lines will create our two players, and then it will take in the player names as inputs. Just look up some rules in BlackJack. So the dealer deals, in BlackJack, the dealer deals a card to each player, and then a final card to himself, and then his final card is face down. I'll skip a lot of the like the fancy print statements to make it look nice for now. So we'll have the players enter their name, and then the dealer will just start dealing cards. The dealer deals cards. And after the dealer deals cards, we'll do one at a time. And they'll all come from the deck. So we want to get a random card out of our deck array. So we'll need our randRange function again. For random. And this is where we can have a player hand. Name, self points, score, So just like we appended to our deck array, we'll append to the We'll inherit both the player and the card class for the deck. I'm trying to think of how we want the inheritance to work. So we want to create a function that deals a card to the player in one of our classes, but it depends on whether we want to put it in, whether we want deck to inherit player or player to inherit deck. Put it in deck for now. So define deal card. Appends to player hand. Yeah, we can have deck inherit player. So we'll have self.player hand. Self.player hand, and then we'll append, and then we'll pass it all of our dealt cards. Okay, so we're gonna append, and we're gonna append to the player hand, and we're gonna remove from the deck array. So we're gonna so we have player hand dot append, just a random card from the deck array. So we'll do deck array rand dot range. Range, and we'll do 2. So we're gonna remove. Just store the random number. So number equals random range 2, and then we'll append player hand, and then we'll do deck array sub number, card index, view card index. Okay, so we'll pick a random number between 0 and 51. We'll put it in card index, and then we're going to append the card at that position onto our player hand, and then we're going to remove it. We're going to remove it from our deck array. So self.deck array remove self.deck array card index. I don't think the append function removes from the previous array. Yeah, it does not remove from the previous array. So we need an append function to add our new value to our deck array, and we need a remove function to remove from the previous deck array. So so we append a card to the player hand, and then we take away that card from the deck. Okay. And then and then every round we'll reshuffle the deck, so we don't have to worry about running out of cards in the deck. So we'll need a reset deck function. So define reset deck. So in our reset deck function, we'll do we'll just recopy this code. Deck. Z deck array deck. Get an empty list, and then for Z and deck array, deck equals deck array. Okay, so we'll create a second deck array, which is a new deck, and then it's going to equal our entire deck array. And then when we reset the deck, we're just going to set x in deck array. Deck array equals new deck. Okay. So okay. So our reset deck function will take everything in the new deck and we'll put it back. We'll put a copy into the deck array again, and then it'll reset the deck. Okay. So back to our main function, we'll do player1.dealCard. Put deal card in player. And we'll change the inheritance. Okay. Player1.dealCard. We'll do player2.dealCard. And we'll do dealer.dealCard. Dealer equals player dealer. We'll always have start with 0 points, 0 score, and an empty player hand. Okay. So this will be player 2, this will be dealer. Should be all in the play round function actually. So the dealer deals a card, or deals cards to every player. So he deals 2 cards to everyone. And his second card is face down. Print player1.name gets a face. Player hands. Player 1. Player hands. Player 1. Player hands. Player1.name gets a player hand 1. And this would be the face of it. This is a card object. So from the card we need the face of this. These. And then we won't have this print statement for the last card because the dealer's card is face down, so we'll just print dealer gets a face down card. Okay. So this will deal 2 cards to every player, including the dealer. And then we'll do to player 1, we'll ask them if they want to hit. If player 1, if input player 1, do you want to dealt a card? Do you want to hit? Okay. That'll be equal to yes. Player 1, do you want to hit? Okay, so if it's yes, player 1 not deal card. So if he says yes, we'll be dealt the card, and then if not, we won't do anything, so we don't need anything else. 2, do you want to hit? 2 dot deal card. And then just make this a while loop. Do if points, some pseudocode, if points greater than 21, player 1 busts. And then break the loop. Same thing for player 2. And then the dealer while dealer okay, so the dealer has to hit until he has at least 17 points. So while dealer points are less than 17, So far in our play round function, we'll deal cards. The final card for the dealer will be face down, and then let the player 1 hit until he can't anymore, he busts. Let player 2 hit until he busts, or he wants to stay. And then while dealer points, dealer dot points are less than 17. Just do dealer dot deal card. If dealer 1, or if dealer has more points, okay, so let's just say that a tie is 0 points. So that means if the dealer has less points, dealer dot points is less than player 1 dot points, player 1 dot score plus equals 1. We'll do the same thing for player 2. And then that will be an entire round. So entire round, he deals cards. While this input is equal to y, deal card. Now, because of the way we set up the faces, we can use the position in that array to give points to the players. So deal cards to everyone. player 1 points less than 22. Same thing down here. So this is how we'll check for busts. We'll make sure the points are less than 22. If player 1 points greater than 22, print break. Player 1 busts. Just do player 1. Okay. I think we'll make just aces count for 1 in this blackjack game, because it could get pretty complicated trying to make it be able to count for either 1 or 2 point values. So, okay, just for our play round function, the dealer deals 2 cards. Dealer deals 2 cards to every player. So everyone gets a card. Then we ask player 1 if he wants to hit, and then we'll use a while loop. So we'll deal a card until points are greater than 21. And then we want to search for the face in our faces array. So X in player 1 faces if if player one dot faces x player one hand player hand. So one dot faces x just do a for loop. Player one dot player hand equals player faces of x. This is checking to see if the card is equal to a position in the faces array. And x is the position. We'll do player one dot points plus equal x. So we'll add the points to the player's points, and then if the points are greater than 21, we'll break. Okay, let me copy the same thing for player 2. Okay, so we'll fix this code a bit, but that's it for this video. We're just gonna review very quickly the code we wrote. Okay, so we created a card class and we give it a suit and a face. So that's going to be used to create the cards in the deck. We created a deck class that inherits our card class, and we made several variables for it. The deck array is we do not need a delta array. We do need a new deck. Okay. So we had our card class we used to create a suit and a face. We have our deck class, which inherits card, and it has a deck array, which is going to be used to keep track of all the cards in the deck. New deck, which is going to be used to reset the deck, and then suits and faces, which are arrays that hold all the types of cards that are going to be used to create each individual card. Then we use a double for loop to append all 52 cards to the deck array. Then we create our new deck array, and then we fill it with the same deck. And then every time we want to reset the deck, we just set deck array equal. We assign the values from the new deck array back into the deck array, so that'll reset our deck. And then we also have a player class for variables. So this will create a player with their name, points, which is just like the points in their hand, whatever the card values add up to in their hand. a score, which is going to be like how many games, how many rounds they've won. How many rounds they've won. Rounds the players won. And then we'll have player hand, which is going to keep track of all the cards in the player's hand. And then we'll use the deal card function to add a card to the player hands from the deck. So it appends it to the player hand and it removes it from the deck array. And then later we fill up the deck array when we reset. So at the end of our round function, we should actually have a reset deck. Oh, we need a deck object. I guess we don't need a new deck. We could just create a new deck for every round. That would actually make more sense. So we don't need the reset deck function. Okay. So game deck stack. Okay. So yeah, we get through our classes, then we have our play round function, which is going to play a single round of blackjack, and then we'll create like a for loop for how many rounds they want to play. When in our main function, like down here, the play round is going to play a single round of blackjack where everyone's dealt 2 cards, and then the players and the dealer hit. So this deals 2 cards to everyone, and then the second card for the dealer is face down, so we don't tell anyone what it is. Then player 1, we ask them if they want to hit, we deal them a card, and then we see what the point value is, and then we add the points, and if it goes greater than 21, they bust. So they can keep hitting as long as they want until they bust, or until they say no. And then do the same thing for player 2, and then we deal the dealer cards until he has greater than 17. I need some parentheses here because we're going to add an or. So if the dealer's points are less than the player's points, and player 1's points are less than 22, the player wins. But it could also happen or if the dealer busts. Dot points will do the end. Or dealer points are greater than 21, and player 1's points. Okay, so these are the conditions for the dealer to lose and the player to win, and then we'll add points for those two. Okay. Name. Point. So this is our entire play round function. So deals the cards, and then the dealer and the players play against each other, and then if the players beat the dealer, they score points. And then in our main function, we can play a certain number of rounds, and then at the end of the game, we can check the scores. So in our next video, we'll finish the program and then maybe do one more short video after that, just to comment our code and clean everything up. So it's much more clear what everything that's going on throughout the program. So yeah, thanks for watching, and be sure to check out the next video for the next part of the program.